rich rising. It might be a rich noon for you or a rich evening, depending when you are watching this video. Okay. I am having a cup of guava leaf tea in preparation of my strawberry time. If you're a girl, you know. So yes, guava leaf tea a few days before. So yeah, if you know, you know. Have some of your guava leaf tea to help you with your blood circulation, to help you not to lose too much blood, especially if you're like me and you have anemia. Yes, so this helps a lot, okay, a lot. Shamelessly plugging my business, okay? I sell leaves to help people with their health. Anyway, oh yes, TikTok, Mehlare Organics. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Mehlare Organics. That's MEHLAREORGANIC. Yes, hope I spelled that right. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about my pregnancy with my one and only son, and how I'm still at a point of trying to figure out whether I manifested it or whether I was just connected enough to source to know that it was going to happen. Cool. So as a generator, obviously, you wait for things to show up in your aura, right? And when I was pregnant with Levi, I fell pregnant when I was turning 29. So I was already slap bam in my Saturn return. And if you don't know anything about Saturn returns, please do have a look at one of my videos. I did make a video about it, I think while I was in it or slightly after I completed it. And it is one of the, I think every single phase in your life is important, but that was one of the most important for me, especially being Saturn ruled. So being Saturn ruled basically means you just have a lot of planets that are in the sign that is ruled by Saturn. So I have a lot of Capricorn. I think I have 3 or more planets in Capricorn, and I have 1 planet in Aquarius, and those are both Saturn ruled planets, Saturn ruled signs. So cool. Saturn return, yeah, you'll see the video. It just basically talks about how Saturn has squares and different things that are happening within your life every 7 years, and it builds up to that specific 7-year cycle. The first 7 years is your carers, the second 7 years is outside influence, the third 7 years is spiritual or other influences. Yeah, so I was talking about Saturn return. The reason why I brought it up is because the Saturn return, for me, Saturn is like karma, and good karma, bad karma, all of it, balancing and noticing what is correct or incorrect in your life. It might be a time where breakups can happen, where weddings can happen, where pregnancies can happen, and breakups after pregnancies can happen. And I believe that the reason why this is because the Saturn return is a culmination of all of the things that you haven't been able to notice or learn from in your life, basically. Anyway, cool. So, oh yes, and that's why when we reach 30, we want to be in better spaces. We want to have that house. We want to have that car. We want to have that job. We want to have proper friendships and proper partnerships and relationships and all of that. And unfortunately, since majority of us didn't know nothing, we didn't know shit, okay, there's a possibility that a lot of the things will fall apart instead of coming together. And that's not a bad thing. Like I said, that whole alchemist energy doesn't just work with good energy, it works with bad energy as well, and really well as well, because energy is energy. And being able to transmute any energy into what you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or whatever want, that's your superpower. So that's something that people need to learn. Once you get into spaces when things start feeling or looking like they're falling apart, that something really big is coming up. So look at the things that look like they're shitty at this time, and start preparing yourself for what it is that you've been asking for. So when we talk about preparing, oh child, okay, let me start. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. But let me just say, preparing, I know for a fact that I did not prepare myself for what I had asked for. So cool. Saturn return has a certain energy to it, and I knew I wanted a baby. I've always known I wanted a baby, two at the most, and I knew I wanted a son first, right? So cool. At the beginning of that year, that need for a baby was so powerful. I even put a light-skinned baby boy on my dream board. I know it sounds crazy, but listen, okay. And then I just left it there, and then I started doing my monthly dream boards. So that was my year's dream board, and then I had my monthly dream boards where I was trying to see what it is I wanted in each month, right? So to make the goals smaller or easier manageable, right? Cool. And when you do a dream board, remember, dream boards can equal anything. It can show you any of your motivations. So for me, my dream board shows me hope, right? And if you ever see my dream board and you see my life, you would be like, bitch, you crazy. Why do you think you could get any of this shit? But the thing is, I need to always hope that I can get anything that I ever want. So cool. I did the dream board and I kind of forgot about it, right? And I expected, if this was going to happen, that it would happen at the end of the year, when I've prepared myself, or when I've gotten myself into a proper routine of spirituality and all of that. So I started getting sick the beginning of the week before lockdown started, and I was nauseous, and I started taking nausea pills because I'm like, what the fuck? And in tune to my sacral, it's like I already knew what was happening, but it's like I didn't want to believe it, right? And that's when I'm saying that I did not prepare myself for the pregnancy. So I took, what do they call them? Nausea pills. And they helped for maybe the first day, second day. And then I think it was the Thursday when we went into lockdown and they started saying, okay, cool, you can work from home or whatever, right? That same Thursday, the oats that I ate, child, I stopped eating oats when I was pregnant. Hey guys, oh my baby. Anyway, I stopped eating oats because it always made me feel sick. So that morning, my morning sickness got worse. So it went from nausea to actual throwing up, right? And I'm like, what is this? You know? And you keep trying to tell yourself that maybe it's nyongo, that I'm not clean and I need to cleanse and all of that. And intuition, gut feeling, not being listened to, right? And I think the energy of staying at home was probably in alignment with what I needed, right? There's a story that I put up about my pregnancy and how difficult it was in the first 3 months for me, and the birth and everything, right? But it's like I knew, but like I was like, let me just wait a bit. Cool. About a month after that, maybe 2 weeks or so after that, I went to check, and lo and behold, I am pregnant, right? And I think there's always a shock. That's why in my last video I was talking about how who you are before falling pregnant, who you are before having the child, are so different. There's such a big shift because you can't be who you were before. You know, you can't do what you used to do, and there's a lot of women who don't follow their intuition and they choose to try and stay the same way that they used to be, you know. And I think that's the unfortunate part. Anyway, cool. So I think that's when I started following my intuition or my sacral a bit more, because now I had my space and I was able to make it like how my environment was. I was able to still record some videos. I was still able to do what it is that my sacral said I need to do. So when I needed to sleep, I would sleep. When I needed to work, I would work. And even when I needed to see my friends, I would contact them or if they said or asked, like say their energy comes into mine asking, can we come see you? I would say sure. Like even before I said anything to anyone, I would literally be like, listen, I need to tell you guys something, right? When they came to visit me, and I was like, guys, I'm pregnant. So that was my sacral yes to share this news with them, right? And I was so happy. Oh my god. Then I was also able to speak up and express what it was that I craved, which was sour worms. Don't judge me. I love sour worms and I love fruit. And I had fruit bowls with yogurt in the morning, and for snacks I had sour worms. Don't judge me. But I still had my green teas and I tried my best to be as healthy as possible. I think the unfortunate part is at the beginning is when I was very lazy, from the morning sickness all the way to I think maybe 5 months or 6 months. That was when I was very, very lazy, and I was in the bed a lot. So as soon as we moved house, then I started doing yoga. So a book that was called Mindful Pregnancy. Oh, such a beautiful book. It helped me so much to get in touch with having a mindful pregnancy, on being healthy, mindful and connected and grounded in that moment. And that's exactly what I needed. And then, yeah, so in terms of the pregnancy itself, I would say that there's a lot of things in my aura that moved me in the direction to have the journey that I did. And I don't know if I predicted my own pregnancy or if I manifested it, but I believe that prediction and manifestation are things that are aligned to each other. However, that is still something I need to put together and word correctly so I can share. But yeah, I do think it's one thing, because there's always how they say what you desire desires you. And they talk about how there's a timeline where you have everything that you desire already, which is why you desire it. And that makes me always think that that means that I am connected to those timelines, which means I am connected to that version of me, and I am predicting the connection, or yeah. So yes, there's a lot of moments in that time where I did not listen to my sacral or my gut, but it's such a beautiful story to remind me of the times that I did, being able to make the friendships that I did by allowing these people coming into my aura and feeling good about it, all the mamas who gave birth in the same year as me, and cultivating such beautiful relationships with them. And I will always appreciate them so much. And also being able to create a space for myself at home, which still allows me to be creative and interactive in a way that felt comfortable for me, since I am a kitchen's environment. And still having the hope that what was happening or what I had was going the way I wished. It's the same if you watch my labor story. You will notice I speak about how everything was going to plan in terms of giving birth, and how I was dilated and already in labor without even knowing it, when I was going to get induced. And it already says that the energy of whatever it was they were going to inject me with to induce my baby's labor was not something that I needed within me. And how I was following my sacral and my body's movements and my breath when I was, I guess it was 7 or 8 centimeters dilated, and breathing into giving birth. And the only time I can say I didn't listen to my sacral was when the doctor told me that I was pushing, even though I was breathing. And that's when everything within me constricted. And that's how you know that you're not moving with your own energy and with your own blueprint anymore. Now you're moving the way that the world wants you to move, And there's a lot of things that I wish I could have done. I really wanted to keep my baby's umbilical cord, and I just didn't say anything. And I think I didn't say anything because now I am being judged and reprimanded for pushing, even though I am breathing. I am doing things that are somatic. I'm doing things that are healing and things that connect me to who I am, my energy and my child. But I'm being told that it's incorrect. And that's okay. I think there's a lot of these places and spaces in life where we can just learn how to move correctly for ourselves. And I can't promise you that you will keep moving correctly for yourself. You are still a human being. There will be times where you forget about your aura type. There will be times where you feel like you have to do stuff, even though we are not supposed to initiate. Everything we need will come into our aura. Even if, there's certain things like hope, motivation. I'm not supposed to do shit. But I'm such an ambitious person that I will literally push for shit to happen and be good and work out and all of that. And you know what? I think with age and through time, especially after your fucking Saturn return, because that shit is, anybody born in 96, anybody born in 96, oh my god, please do contact me if you're born in 96, so we can try work through your Saturn return together, because that shit is difficult and it feels like the world is ending. Oh my god, it feels like the world is ending until you leave it, like maybe 1 or 2 years afterwards, when you leave it and you're like, oh, actually that made me better. It's the same with pregnancy. I think it's the same with marriage, because all of these things need a new version of you, So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. But yeah, that's my pregnancy story, I spent most of it not listening to my gut. I spent most of it not listening to my gut. I spent most of it trying to plan and do everything myself. But in the end, I got what I needed. I got to the hospital that I wanted to be in. And as much as I didn't get everything I wanted, I still was able to experience or have an experience that was aligned to me. And like I say, even when it feels and looks bad or lower vibrational or painful or whatever, it's always just, it's like contraction. It's basically making space for the birth of something new and beautiful. Oh, that's gonna make me cry. But yeah, that's it. So just remember that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to not be able to follow everything that's in your human design chart all the time, because it literally takes 7 years to I almost said decompress. It takes 7 years to remove everything that you've learned, things that are not for you anymore. So I hope this story has helped you to be a little more graceful. Give yourself graceful. To give yourself a little more grace and to be a little more kinder to yourself. And I hope the story has reminded you, I hope any of the stories that I've stated so far or said so far, I hope that they allow you the space to know that even when you do something out of alignment, that it can still be in alignment. Because as much as we don't think we're connected to our higher selves and our ancestors of light, we are always connected. We are always connected. It just looks different when you're intentionally when you're doing it intentionally and when you're doing it unintentionally. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope that this has helped you in a way, and I hope you're loving the series.